Hi everyone, this is Tanya. Today I'm going to be doing a Oracle deck review for the Magic the Gathering Oracle. Now, for those of you that do not know, Magic the Gathering is a card game based on fantasy, magic, high fantasy, very artistic, where you can play yourself, you can collect them and work with them yourself like my husband does, or compete. Many people compete with that in tournaments, different things. There's many things online on this deck or Magic the Gathering, should I say, sorry about that. Magic the Gathering about that is a something I tried to play years ago, and I do know a lot about it since it's originated in the 90s and came out, and I was always attracted to the artwork, the aesthetic, and the feeling of it, but I tried several years ago. I tried to learn more about it, the system, and play it. It wasn't that I was just disinterested or anything. I'm just not a gamer, but I do love high fantasy art. Of course, I love magic. I'm a witch, hello. I love the theme. I like the premise of it even. So I thought, hey, I would get this when I saw it because I was surprised when I saw this deck. This deck, because I always said, looking at the Magic the Gathering cards and the premise of them, as I said, the aesthetic, I thought they would make a great tarot oracle card. Now, I did see many things online in the past or mentions of it where people tried to make their own decks out of it, the whole collage thing and etc. But some kind of worked out, but many it did not, or just didn't fall into place. But still interested. I always told my husband, who's a huge Magic the Gathering enthusiast, at You and Your Horror Movies is his channel, but he used to play tournament a lot. Now he just collects, and he has literally hundreds of decks, meaning commander decks and such on there. And I love seeing them still myself, even though I don't play, because I'm not a gamer. But I like that. So I always said, therefore, that would make an interesting tarot oracle. I mentioned that dozens of times. Even he said that'd be a cool idea, I promise. Even though he's not into tarot or oracle, he's open-minded, just not his cup of tea. So when I never heard that this was coming out. So when I went to Salem and I went to Newberry Comics in the North Shore Mall, I saw this and I was like, what? I didn't hear of this. I didn't see anything mentioned about it on YouTube or online or anything like that. So I was like, really? Is this for real? I picked it up and I read it, and yeah, so I showed it to my husband. He's like, yeah, we're getting it. I said, well, we can get it for our collection. Well, since I'm the reader and the collector, he says it'll be yours, and you can use it as you see fit, but it's a cool thing. So we both agreed that it was pretty cool. So when I opened it and took a look through it, I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking cool. I recently said right before that, oh, that'd be cool, probably within a week or two, Kind of a good way, self-fulfilling prophecy. Not a huge wish, but hey, wish other things would come that easily or pop up, on the radar. So this deck pleasantly surprised me for many reasons on that. First, the box is great. As you can see, there's a bright orange in here, but a good sturdy box. And it has a guidebook here. The guidebook is simple but effective. You don't have to know the game or the premise of it or the artwork to be familiar with it. Basically, it has, as you can see here, it has a keyword like traditional oracle, like for example, transformation. It'll say Erebus or Erebos. Sorry about that pronunciation. Not the best at that sometimes. But what it's from, like what deck series theme it's from, or characterization that it's from. It'll say that. It has a little couple sentence card meaning, which is actually I found very accurate and very effective. With or without the guidebook, this deck works great on. It has a reverse meaning, and then it has a little sentence about the story on there. That's why you don't have to know it, but it gives you just a little insight into what you're actually working with. Again, if you're into high fantasy art, you're into warrior like decks, activity, you have that inner fire, that inner warrior type of thing, you're a gamer or collect things like that, or the aesthetic, then I'm sure you'd appreciate this. Cardstock is actually not too bad on it. Let me show you here. Kind of cardboardy, but linen at the same time. But spring, I'm not a spring back. I'm not a riffle shuffler. Not my thing. I just don't like it, and it ruins decks. I can ruin it in other ways myself. But yes, I'm not going to do a full flip through here, but I'm just going to show some cards and say that I highly recommend this deck. So whether you are a oracle reader, or collector, or pair those with tarot, or whether or not you are a gamer or into art, high fantasy art, or that type of aesthetic, then this deck is for you. I give it a high rating. I would buy it again and again. I highly recommend it, and I was pleasantly surprised on that. So this deck, here I'm going to start showing you some of the cards on this. This deck, by the way, I used so far this month a lot with the Louis Royal Dark Tarot, which is a high fantasy art deck. He is one of my favorite artists. Again, high fantasy art, like dragons and warriors and women in scantily clad clothes that are tasteful, not that fantasy landscape, high magic and such that goes with that. It is definitely a unique deck, and his artwork is fabulous and definitely resonates with me. I like that sort of medieval warrior magic thing of a different realm type of thing. I like unusual decks and unusual things. Why not? Why not enjoy the different things in life? So I'm going to show you some of the cards here now. I've also used this with the Mausolea Oracle. Great. It pairs nicely aesthetically. All three of those decks pair. This deck and the other two that I just mentioned pair nice aesthetically. But again, it's very clear, concise. You don't need to use the guidebook, but the guidebook has a thing on it. Not long to read, short to the point. I use it to pull cards in the morning before work. So that is medicine. I actually got that yesterday. Generosity. The Mentor. And as you can see right down there, it has a little in the guidebook where the theme is, or what deck it's from, or series that it is from. But the only complaint I have is it's not in alphabetical order, so you have to search by the actual theme there versus in the guidebook versus alphabetically and such. But not too much more effort. But yeah, if you're familiar with the Royal Dark Tarot, then you'll see why. Look at that right there. Looks like it fits right in with it. Oh, upside down. Conflict. And a lot of these things, obviously, the Magic the Gathering game takes from, obviously, magic, mythology, mythos, gaming, all sorts of things. So that's definitely heavily themed throughout this deck, but pairs nicely. Oh my gosh. But like, look, turning to stone, for example. Now that I fixed it. Web of Drama. Again, a very easy, straightforward reader. and does like to pair well with tarot. It doesn't make you work for it, meaning the guidebook does not too. But I have actually, every card I've ever pulled from this that I've been using this month of June, ever since I got it at the end of May, has been very honest, very insightful and effective, and gives me something clear and concise to work with for my readings and for my guidance. Sometimes way more so than other decks I've had. See, like this one, the unconscious. This is definitely a deck that kind of, these cards in this deck definitely brings you to a different realm. That's why it goes very well with the Royal Dark on it. Kind of also, this with the Royal Dark together gives me that heavy metal theme, like the band Dio, which I love, Rainbow, which was Ronnie Dio's band back before that, and he was also in Sabbath at a point. Also gives me of different things, like a lot of his music, the heavy metal on that in Black Sabbath had a lot to do with like magic and fantasy, so that's why it pairs well. Well, that's why, should I say, it kind of speaks to my heavy metal love of heavy metal. Don't mind me. I'm getting bit up by mosquitoes. They're appearing. It's very humid here. It's been thunderstorming, etc. So I'm gonna put this up soon. I mean, just look at that. Look how fun that is. Now that I've gotten that one a couple times. The Gateway, the Underworld. If you watch any of my previous videos, I work a lot with the Underworld, like Hecate, Hades, and other deities. So yes, so this also reminds me of the Underworld and the realm. And I am gonna I'm filming, but this deck is This deck is great. I highly recommend it, even if you are not into gaming or such, but you're into fantasy or something that's kind of unique that will maybe out of the necessary type of collection that you may have, if you're looking to expand that or your perspective in your practice. And sorry about that with all the mosquitoes and such, but I showed you a good amount of cards. Again, I give this deck, honestly, other than finding it in the guidebook, and other than the cards deck being fairly favorable for the most part, but easy to shuffle, I actually give it basically a 9 out of 10. So hey, a win-win for me. Asking you shall receive sometimes. I hope you find something in this video, or you like this deck, or I'm sure there might be more videos out there. I haven't really checked on that, but thanks for bearing through my ramblings. I hope this finds you all well. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.